Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I've got something to show you today. I've got the DJI Mini 4 Pro, everybody's favorite mini drone. By far the most capable mini drone on the market now by a wide margin. Nothing else even comes close to what this drone can do. The folks at Freewell sent me another filter set. Now I've shown you their ultimate filter set for the Mini 4 Pro before, but this one is a little different. It includes not only ND filters, and it's got an ND 16, 32, 64, 128, and 256, but also it includes a couple of specialized filters. It's got the anamorphic and wide angle. Now, the wide angle lens is the one, or the filter is the one that I am going to focus on for this video. What we want to do is we want to take the Mini 4 out and see how much more of a view it gives us. Now, why do you want a wide angle filter or lens addition on your drone? If you're trying to get the big picture of something, a mountain range, a big lake, something like that, that's when you're going to want that, that wide angle lens. Now, anamorphic, I have shown anamorphic lenses before. The last time I did a video with an anamorphic filter was the Mavic 2, the DJI Mavic Air 2. And what an anamorphic filter does is basically it gives you that cinema wide view. If you go back to the 50s when movie theaters were trying to compete with television, they came up with this big cinema wide and these giant cinema wide screens and stuff. So you had a band at the top and the band at the bottom, but a big wide view. And there is some post-production that goes in line with that. If you use that anamorphic filter, you have to de-squish the video, but then ultimately you end up with that big cinema wide look. And if you're doing a project that requires that, that's why you would want that anamorphic filter. And then of course the standard ND filters. Now, what I appreciate about these is they're ND filters that do not have a polarizer on them. And I'll tell you, a polarizer is great when you're going one direction, into the sun and away from the sun, and you have it adjusted for that. However, there are times that you're flying around that you don't want that polarizer changing the look. So if you just have a plain ND filter, you can slow down the shutter speed to whatever you desire, and no matter which way you turn the drone, it's going to look the same. So anyway, enough of that jibber jabber. Let's open the box up and let's take a look and see what they've given us here. And then I'll show you how to fit the wide angle filter onto the drone. And then we'll take the drone out into the field and we'll try it out and we'll see just what it can do for you. Okay, just wanted to give you a close-up of the package here so you could see the way they package it. And yeah, we'll get the cellophane off here and we'll open this guy up. Okay, I've said this before on other videos, but I appreciate that Freewell got rid of the zipper that they used to put along the top there, the kind of zipper package that was always impossible to get open. So now it's just a regular flap. You simply open it up and there's our package inside. Let's pull that out, take a look, and you saw that fall off. You always get a good little envelope full of, there's a cleaning cloth in there, and there's instructions, and there's these QR codes to videos that tell you how to use the filters. So here's the filter pack itself, and they always give us a nice jewel case that they package them in, and you get that satisfaction of peeling the plastic off there. But let's open this guy up and take a look at what's inside. So, just as promised, you've got the anamorphic lens, the wide angle lens, and then the 16, 32, 64, 128, and 256 filters. Now let's see if we can get that wide angle lens installed. Okay, I folded up the back legs, and hopefully this that'll help us sit this thing here, the drone here. So basically, get a hold of the camera itself. You're going to turn it counterclockwise and the cover, and you're going to just that's going to come right off, and there you have, there's no glass in there or anything. It's just basically a framework that goes over the camera. Then to get the wide angle filter on there, or lens, you do just exactly the opposite. You push it a little bit to the counterclockwise, well, if I can get a hold of the camera here, a little bit to the counterclockwise direction, and turn it to, would be to my right, and there it is. It's that easy. It's installed on there. And hang on here, let's hold this guy up, and let's fire it up, and you can see that it does not affect the calibration of the gimbal itself. Okay, let's fire up the drone, and you can see the gimbal go through its normal calibration. It'll take it just a second here, and you'll see the gimbal calibrate itself. There it goes. And boom. The gimbal is operating normally, just as it should. Hey, okay, I misspoke telling you that the stock DJI camera frame would fit over this mount right here. However, it does fit in where the wide-angle lens typically goes. So snap it in there, and there you go. It's a good place to store it. That way you don't lose it while you've got the other lens on there. Okay, there is only one thing left to do, and that is to get this drone out into the field, and let's try out this wide-angle lens. Hey, okay, so we're out in the field, and I've got the DJI Mini 4 Pro, and we're going to do our first flight without the wide-angle lens on there, and we're going to take a look at it and see how it looks. Just a short flight. We'll take a couple of pictures, and we'll get some video too. I'm at a little different location. I'm at the Eagle BMX bike park, and of course there's nobody here today, so it's a good spot to take off, a good parking lot, and plus hopefully I can get a good shot at the Boise front in the background, and we can look at that, check it out with that wide-angle lens. But first, let's get a flight in with just not even an ND filter, just the standard Mini 4 Pro lens, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I'm fired up and ready to go here. I want to point out a couple of things before we take off. Okay, let's. One of the first things I want to do is try something that I learned. I made a video about the changes in the Fly app recently, and when I clicked on Before You Fly, I was not, it just showed me a Chinese map. What I've been told is, I click on that, and let's let it load here. It'll take it a second to load, and I'm hooked up Wi-Fi to my phone. It's asking me to agree. Oh, we're going through the whole rigmarole here. Tap on a location for specific requirements. Okay, so now we're in the area, and what I've told is you click on the little target, and you can see the map says it's Beijing. If I click on the target, yeah, that's correct. It brought it up into my map. So my criticism was, why do I need a map of Beijing? Well, now we see why. But it's, yeah, it says right here, let's see, let's click on flight restrictions and see what it says. And yeah, there's nothing there, so I don't even know what that means. So I don't know if that's something I'm supposed to enter. All fly spots, no. Most visited. Yeah, anyway, that's something for another time, but I just wanted to show you that that's how you get to that map. And clicking on Go Fly again, and I keep moving around my little, there's a little icon for the screen recorder, and I'm moving it back and forth, so that's what you're seeing there. So the other thing I wanted to point out again is that I've got the fonts set in the large font for the telemetry on the screen. Let's show you that real quick. In Control, we can go to standard font, and that reduces everything. And well, let's just show you that on the main page. And you can see that's smaller. That's what we've been used to. Let's go back to larger text. which is pretty handy for older guys like me. So I like that. So that's where we're going to stay with it. So let's go ahead and take off here. And again, what I'm going to try and do is get you a shot at the Boise front. Look around here a little bit, and then we'll take a couple of pictures as well. Let's just shoot in 4K 30, starting recording now. I'm going to do an auto takeoff on the app, so let's go ahead and click on that. Yeah, fly safe tips, normal mode recommended. Yeah, okay. I haven't seen that yet, but anyway, that must have been something else I clicked on. But at any rate, here we go.
Takeoff.
And there's the little Mini 4 Pro. You know, doing its best job as a pro drone. We're getting some squawking here because I'm parked next to my truck. So let's pick it up well, let's bring it back. Pick it up just a little bit, and we're not going to be able to get it in too close to us, but let's see if we can get it in here a little bit so you can see the drone. Yeah, it's already trying to rise up, and so we won't mess with that. Let's go ahead and do our droney. Let me drop the camera down. Okie dokie, reversing up now, reverse and up. And again, the little drone, it just handles like a dream. DJI flight controls are just second to none. And what you're going to see here is, as we get over the top of it, you're going to see the BMX track that's here at the Eagle Bike Park. Let's continue to grab some altitude here because we're going to need it. And you can see on the augmented reality, you can see our home point there. But again, this is just with the standard lens. And what I thought I would do, well, you know what? Yeah, this is probably a shot we'll take of the track here. But the reason that I came to this spot is, for one thing, it was a good parking lot, good place to park. But I wanted to see if I could get a shot of the foothills and the Boise front. So let's grab some altitude. We need to grab a lot of altitude because we're right in the foothills. And so, okay, let's just go ahead and let's go up to max altitude.
Max altitude.
Yep,
Reach.
we're at max altitude, and what you see off in the distance there is the Boise foothills. And at the the foothills and the Boise front, and at the top of that is the Bogus Basin Ski Resort. So let's stop recording and let's take a picture. So stopping recording, and we're going to go into, well, I don't even need to go into photo mode. I can just do it on the controller. Yeah, and I think that just switched me. Let's hit that button again. Yeah, and there we got a picture. So I want to remember how far out I'm in. I'm 240 meters out, and I'm at full height. So I want to remember that when we take a picture with the when I put the wide-angle lens on there. I got kind of confused whether to call it a wide-angle lens or a filter. It is a lens. Okay, you can see where we're at down here. This is the city of Eagle. You're looking at the screen recorder right now because I didn't want to stop recording again. But what I do want to do is come back down and let's get kind of over the bike park here. I want to get centered up on it. So I'm going to try and just get centered here. And we are about 206 meters out, about 56 meters high. Let's take another picture. And we'll take another picture again with the, we'll get the telephoto lens on there, and we'll see how much wider that looks. So with that, let's go ahead and bring it home. I'm going to do a return to home on the controller, and we'll see if I don't think I gave it a really good look at its landing pad, so we may not get a precision landing, but we'll give it a shot here. We got a nice paved area here, so unless it tries to land on top of my Tahoe, it's going to be just fine. And then once we get it on the ground, we'll switch to the wide-angle lens, and we'll just do a quick comparison and see how it looks. I should be dropping the camera down here.
Landing.
I always like to mess around with that precision landing. It looks pretty darn close, doesn't it? And really, I'll be honest with you, precision landing, unless you're, you know, you're in a situation that you can't get to a land, but look, it's going to hit right on. I just think it's kind of a parlor trick, but it's a lot of fun. I love the technology that they put in these drones. So, okay. It landed right in the middle of the H. Okay, let me get it shut down, and I'm going to switch to the Freewell wide-angle lens and take a look at it here. We'll see how that looks. Okay, I was able to actually switch and put that wide-angle lens on there without even shutting down the drone. So it looks pretty good, and it looks like the gimbal is holding it just fine. I mean, it's a pretty big lens, so you wonder about the weight and stuff, but it looks like it's holding it just fine. Let's go ahead and start recording again. Switch back to recording, shooting in 4K 30. We'll do another auto takeoff here and see how that looks.
Takeoff. Home point updated.
And let's go. It did a good precision landing, but this time I'm going to give it a better shot. DJI in there, I looked again because somebody told me that you no longer have to climb to 7 meters high to give the drone a look at its landing spot. I looked in all of the latest manuals, and they all still say that, to go straight up 7 meters before you move off. But in any case, that's just an aside. Let's bring this guy back down, and we'll do a droney just like we did when we had the standard lens on there. Let me see if I can point the camera down. That's not going to tell us too much, this droney, but when we get those reference points, and we can look at you know, where we had the drone out there. So reverse and up now. When we get those reference points of where when we had the drone out there, that will be helpful. And I'm looking, you know, I'm looking at the screen here. Yeah, I guess, you know, I definitely think I'm getting a wider look. I'm going to go ahead and climb. And let's go ahead and turn it around. I'm trying to remember how far, I hate to say this, I don't remember how far out here we were. Was it, I think, was it like 240 meters? I think it was. This looks about right. So let's go ahead and climb up to max height. So we're at 265 meters away. That little bit of distance isn't going to make any difference in what we see, but yeah, I'm just trying to remember how I had that last shot framed up too. So these are things that I should have thought about in advance. But in any case, there's the Boise front again, and you're looking at Bogus Basin Ski Resort there off in the distance. And I'm going to stop recording, and we're going to take a picture. And let's switch to picture mode, and let's take a quick picture. And you know, just looking at it on the screen here, it's kind of hard for me to say if it was that much wider or not. But in any case, let's just like we did before, let's bring it back down. And again, I'm trying to remember. This is embarrassing. I'm trying to remember how far I was away from the BMX track when I took that picture earlier. That would help, wouldn't it? I think it was about 240 meters, wasn't it? So maybe I was out there further when I, yeah. So, yeah, this is definitely a wider view. So let's take another picture. And you know what? No, I was lower than that, wasn't I? How low was I? Was I at? I think I was at like 50 some meters. Gosh, Marcus, you got to do better than this. But in any case, we'll take another picture here. And it still should give us an idea of, yeah, we were at like 50 some meters, weren't we? So it still should give us an idea of how much more of a view. And I definitely can tell you, it looks like to me like we've got a bigger view. I think I'm closer than I was with the other time with the standard lens on there, and I can see definitely a bigger view of the track. Let's take a picture. And you know what? I'm looking. If you look at the horizon, you can definitely see the fisheye effect in the horizon. You know, the way the horizon is kind of bent there. In fact, let me move the. Well, let's go ahead and start recording again. And yeah, yeah, you can definitely see that we get a little fisheye effect. So that definitely tells us we definitely have a wide-angle lens on there. Let's go ahead and let's just take it on a little bit of a flyabout. We still have 65% battery, but you know, the gimbal, yeah, here we're at max altitude. The gimbal seems to be taking care of things quite well. It's not having any problems with that lens on there. So let's just kind of look around here. That's the city of Eagle you see off in the distance out there. And let's just kind of fly up into the foothills for a little ways here. And get a look at the Boise foothills. You know, you're gonna have to climb pretty fast to stay above this stuff. You see those trails? Those are many of them are the city of Eagle here. So I'm assuming those are bike trails, and I'm sure they connect with the city of Boise trails. And I am climbing to get over the top here. And what do we got down here? I believe I've seen this before. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else. Not sure what that is. I'm just looking at it on the FPV screen here. But let's just get another look with this wide-angle lens, and let's head up towards the Boise front there. And again, we're near max legal, which actually so we're at 120 meters above takeoff point, but obviously as the terrain is going up, we're a lot closer to ground level, so we're more than legal doing what we're doing here, right here, as far as our height is concerned. Yeah, just kind of take advantage of this wide-angle lens and kind of give you a little look around. This is the Boise foothills. Both the city of Boise and the city of Eagle spend a lot of time creating hiking and mountain bike trails in the foothills here. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty neat little thing. And you can see what is so cool about our that augmented reality, the H there, you can see our home point. So you could literally, you know, just fly the drone right home without issue. So anyway, you're getting the idea here. I'm going to drop the camera down a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's do a return to home. I'm going to do it on the app, return to home. And it's going to do an augmented reality. You see that green line, and let's see when it starts. When will it start dropping in height here as it comes back? Just a note about the weather. Just a couple days ago, I did my video on the app update and I nearly froze to death. Today, it's going to be nearly 60 degrees. So, while we had cold weather then, this is well above average. In fact, they're talking about setting records for warm weather in January, and we are still in January. This is January 30th when I'm making this video. So it hasn't started. I'm kind of surprised. I thought the drone would start dropping in altitude already, but it's not. So well, that's just interesting, kind of an interesting thing to see with the optimized return to home. You know, when does the drone start dropping in altitude? And part of that optimized return to home is it takes a more direct route. It uses the obstacle avoidance. And yeah, it's still now it's starting to drop. Yeah, it's coming down now, and it's out about 120 meters when it started dropping. So yeah, it's coming down. It's coming down rather quickly now. And again, let's give it a shot at that precision landing. Let's see what happens. See if it gives us a precision landing. And by the way, yeah, look at that. It looks like it's right on the H. I really like the enlarged font on the telemetry here, and yeah, you can see the drone shadow. It's going to be right on the H. It looks to me like. I just think that's so much fun. So, yeah, here we go on the ground. Boom. Okie dokie, I am going to wait to do the conclusion when I get home because I want to look at these pictures and look at this video and actually see the difference for myself. It's, you know, when you're just looking at the FPV screen, it's kind of hard to see, but I want to put those pictures up on my computer and see what they look like. Yeah, so stay tuned for a quick conclusion. Hey, I got one more thing I want to point out to you. The ND filters that come with this kit are designed to fit over the anamorphic and the wide angle lens. So in other words, these ND filters that are in this kit would not fit on your drone by themselves. So again, they're designed to fit over the top of both of these lenses. And so what they recommend is when you put the lens on, you put the filter on after the drone is already fired up. In other words, there's power to the gimbal. And I suspect because it probably just makes it that much heavier and can affect the gimbal calibration. So I'm sure that's why they want you to do that. But, well, let me pull one off of here, see if I can do it without dropping it, and just kind of show you the backside. I don't know how well you're going to see that, but it just clips right over the top of the lenses. So anyway, a little bit more information for you. Hey, okay, so the picture you see on the left is without the wide angle lens on it, and the picture on the right is with the wide angle lens. So you can definitely see a difference. You see a little bit of fisheye effect with that wide angle lens, but you're definitely getting a bigger picture of the Boise front, and it definitely looks more distant. So these two pictures aren't exactly a fair comparison. The picture on the left is without the wide angle on it, and the picture on the right is. Now they're taken at a different angle, so this isn't really telling us much. However, you can look on the picture on the right, which is with the telephoto, and you can see the fisheye effect on the horizon there. So that gives you an idea. So the Freewell wide angle and anamorphic lens kit with ND filters, it's pretty good. I like this wide angle effect a lot, and when you need to get the big picture like we are here looking at the Boise front, it is a good thing to have. But in any case, that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really do appreciate you taking the time to look at this video today. And yeah, of course, we'll see you on the next one. See you guys later.